Hey guys, this is Phoenix SD, and I'm doing a cast today. This is going to be my formal submission for the IGN Pro League caster search. So, we're going to go ahead and jump right in here. Spawning on the bottom right of Ohana is going to be Liquid Taeja, spawning as the red Terran. And then up here on the top left, spawning as the blue Zerg, is Evil Genius's Stephano. While the game's starting up, I'll take a moment just to tell you a little bit about myself. I am 22 years old. My name's Harrison. One of the things I hope you notice about me is that I don't seem to miss anything when the game is going on. I know a lot of casters do really well, and they always follow the action extremely well, keeping an eye on the minimap and all that, but I noticed that some of them will miss smaller engagements or medevacs getting picked off, things like that, smaller drops, and I tend to always see those things while I'm playing, as well as when I'm watching games, and I always wish that someone would mention that, because those are the small decisions that can actually affect the outcome of the game, whether or not a spawning pool gets picked off, or maybe a pylon gets or gateways get depowered because there was only one pylon there, and that definitely affects the game. And it seems that sometimes that can go unnoticed as far as casting goes. So my goal is always to kind of bring up every bit of the action to everyone watching. So I hope that you notice that about me. I feel like I stand out because of that. So we're going to go ahead and just jump right in. Looks like Stephano is going for a 15 hatch, so he's not going to be doing any early pressure with a pool. And Taeja is going to follow somewhat suit. It looks like he might be going for that 1 Rax gasless fast expand. First barracks right at the front door. We do have that MLG map as well, just take note, which means that that neutral supply depot is there so that any race can't get walled into their base and be forced to stay on one base. Very early game. But Stephano does have the Overlord heading out straight to the third base, which we can only assume is going to the natural. Yeah, it's going to sit right here. He'll be able to scout gas timings and that. And if he doesn't have any Zerglings out quite yet, once this gets here, he can also spot and see if there's an expansion coming up. Taeja sending out his scout right around that 17 mark, which is pretty standard. I mean, finishes the barracks and then jumps right out. Then we have the other SCV coming down here. Yeah, you can see he's going to go for that fast expand. And there it goes. We've got the 1 Marine following up, just sitting at the front door. Stephano's hatchery nearing completion, about 75% of the way there. And this SCV comes in just to kind of poke around, see what's going on. Looks like Stephano is currently at the moment a little bit supply blocked. There we go. Pops out that Overlord. Should get a Queen started real quick, unless he could be going for a third base fast here, unless he decides to go for that double Queen, one here at the main and one here at the natural. But we'll see which direction he decides to head in. Queen there and Queen there. There we go. So 2 in the production tab. Do have that command center still building down here for Taeja. The Marine is just scouting around, making sure no Zerglings get in. This Overlord took some damage as well. Marine pushing it back, making sure that that scout is not possible. This is a very common spot to place your Overlords, but by the time it gets here, it is a little bit dangerous because it does need to cross this path. Stephano has everything set up to scout out his third, make sure there's nothing there, get another Overlord down here, just get that spread so that he knows whether or not there's drops coming, anything like that. But we do have both Queens popping out, immediately larva injecting, and now he's going to bring his Queen down to the natural so that he can help with any defense that he might need, does Stephano. Still no gas taken for Stephano as well. He's pumping out that third Queen, so it looks like it's going to be a 3 Queen build as of right now. We do have a third command center coming down for Taeja, so that is going to be a pretty greedy build. He's just sitting on 1 Rax right now, no bunkers at all. That's pretty greedy. Stephano going for that third as well. I don't believe he saw it. I didn't see anything like that. We do have a Zergling getting picked off by these Marines. There is going to be a little bit of pressure. Stephano's still droning, saying, nah, I don't believe you. There's no pressure coming. We do have the double creep spread coming out. Overlord is heading on back, though, which is nice. He's going to be able to scout that gas timing. Obviously, he knows that there is some form of second base there. He did get up there and scout that out a little bit. We do have the pack of 4 Marines coming down here, going to pick off that third hatchery, or at least harass it a little bit. There are no Lings on the production tab, and I don't believe he has any there. This bunker is getting ready to go down, and this third base is definitely going to need to be canceled if Stephano doesn't decide. He just droned up 11 more drones, so he does not have any intention of actually defending this third base. He's letting Taeja waste all this time, sit over there, and kill this third hatchery, and Stephano just, nah, I'm not going to worry about that. Let's see what the vision looks like for Stephano right now. As of right now, he sees that the third is done. But yeah, he can't really spot anything. He sees the gas there. He knows that all the Marines are still sitting in this corner. and there was that one drone from the cancel. Did get picked off. Taeja sitting here, not too bad. Got that third orbital command center sitting there. Go ahead and get that third mule down. We do have reactored Hellions coming out as well as a starport. This bunker is still in play, so Stephano will not be able to get any sort of third base in this area as of any time soon. He still does not have any Zerglings on the field that I can see. Let's go ahead and take a look. Yeah, 51 drones and 4 queens. Double Evo chambers, though, so we can only assume that there is going to be some heavy play coming out from him as far as Lings go. Depending on the tech path he chooses. I mean, let's see, there's a bunch of barracks coming out for Taeja, so once Stephano scouts that out, he can safely assume that he's going to need to go that the Ling Baneling route. Roaches aren't the best choice versus Marauders. We got 4 Hellions pushing out here, so they're just doing a little bit of harass, but this 4 Queen build is actually pretty counter Hellion right there. Can't really get too many Hellions through with those 4 queens. You'd block the ramp off, kind of run your drones around, split them up, while the other 3 queens are just shooting them down. You can block off a ramp with 1 queen against Hellions. Not much else though. A lot of people use 2. Just a little bit safer. But this queen is most likely going to fall down unless he gets a sick transfuse off, which I don't believe he will. But yeah, there comes the Lings. They are still slow Lings. He needs about another 10 seconds before these Lings can do anything, but 6 Hellions in his Bane, his natural in his base, are not going to be doing anything as soon as Stephano gets that epic surround. Oh wow, I was taking that sentence in a completely different direction, but of course Stephano, being the man that he is, just doesn't like to have Hellions in his base, so those aren't going to stay there for very long. But we can see how he's going to react to this Banshee. He does have his infestation pit down. It is going to start about 40 more seconds on it. But this Banshee, let's see, we get some Spore Crawlers dropped down. He does have Lair Tech, so he is getting that Overseer as well. Third base is up, but not saturated. Fourth base is coming up as well. Taeja getting that full wall off, pulled out double gas, clearing out the rocks, going to take this third base and drop it down over there. More barracks pumping out as well. Looks like he's getting siege mode. He's getting +1. Where's that Banshee? Still sitting here just picking off creep. He's actually got 2 Banshees now. The Baneling Nest is down for Stephano, or coming up, excuse me. But +1/+1 is also going there for Stephano, so he's going to go with the Ling composition this time. We do have the Banshees actually backing off. He did not get that personal cloak, or excuse me, the cloak for them. What's it called? Cloaking field, excuse me, not personal cloaking. That's ghosts. Excuse me, guys. I was taking a drink of my beverage there. But the Overseer as well as the Changeling did just get picked off. We do have the third base getting pulled up for Taeja. Queen sitting out front, still keeping that creep spread going. But these Banshees are going to try to do what they can against these. Oh, against the Queen. Is he going to get it? Oh, and he gets the Banshee. The second Queen about to go down. Does get the transfuse off, but the second Banshee, rather, decides to stay there and go ahead and pick it off. He does get away with 5 hit points, which is amazing. We do have a double drop coming out here through the top. Stephano knows that this third base is here via the Overlord placement, but this double drop, I don't know if he saw it. Let's take a look. And now, well, he definitely sees it now. If he didn't before, I didn't see any reaction from him, but I think he went ahead and just let everything drop down, and then he moved in because he was in perfect position to do so. He did lose a couple Marines there. It looks like about 4, unless the second medevac was not loaded up. But we do have the Spore Crawler over the third. Does have about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 drones there. So he's trying to get his mining going. Mostly focusing on this fourth base, though, as it is a little bit closer and easier to defend. Let's see, no Queens out there, but he does have Infestors out. Pathogen Glands is finished. 2/2 is on the way. Baneling Speed, Burrow. We do have +1 for the Siege Tanks coming out, as well as +2 armor and weapons for his Marines. Let's see, okay, so he does get ready to get this engagement going. Stephano with 4 Infestors, a couple Banelings, let's see, a handful of them, so about 6, and he morphs in a ton more. So he's doing another 7 Banelings on top of his already 6. We're going to have a total of 13 Banelings. Got, let's see, 4 medevacs out on the field, 3 Siege Tanks, and this creep is not going to survive very long. These Overlords are good placement to spread that creep, but just not great placement to actually prevent the supply block. Looks like Stephano's actually supply blocked as of right now. He's got the 146 over 146, so supply is actually fairly even, off by 1 unit. Got a Zergling run by the Scout, but actually Taeja did have some units there. Looks like the Taeja was baiting Stephano in a little bit more just to see if he could catch him off guard and get a couple Marines in there, bait the Lings back and get a siege tank shot or two. We do have that drop coming in. It's going to go right over here, but all the infestors and the Queen is right there. That should get picked off immediately. Stephano's paying attention, and there it goes. He does get the drop down, though, which unloads all the Marines, so it's not an insta-kill on all of that. He does have to fight for it a little bit, but he does not even kill one unit, actually. Stephano saves the Queen. We do have the Overlord still sitting here, sees the supply pad wall. Does Stephano know about the 4th base, though? Let's see. He does not. He only knows that there's a 3rd. Actually, according to Stephano, there's not even a main. So, so Stephano's vision, not the best on the scouting, but his version of scouting was, well, you know, this map, mech isn't the best, so we're going to go ahead and choose that it's going to be Marines and tanks. We do have the tanks with the +1 weapons now. The Marines are still sitting at 1-1. But Adrenal Glands is almost finished up for Stephano with +2 melee attacks. He's just pumping out more Zerglings. He's got a huge pile right here. Creep is just getting picked away and picked away. These Marines are just kind of, well, the luckiest Marines in the world until that moment exactly right there. We've got the big drop on the top right. And let's see, no more drops going around the map. But Stephano does decide to cancel the hatchery, which I don't believe it was that low. But we're going to go ahead and assume it was, because I'm not the pro player, Stephano is. So we've got the planetary fortress up here at the 4th base with a pretty good amount of siege tanks. These Marines are on hold position, so this tank is not able to get out. But he is going to try to siege this up a little bit. Stephano with a little infestor hit squad going to try to pull it out and see if he can chuck a couple infested Terran and make them damage their own units. There's also some Lings down here at the 5th. But yeah, Taeja doesn't see the infestor, the little shadow of the infestor here. Wow, you can't actually see anything right there. Usually you can see him a little bit moving. But no, the placement of those is actually pretty well with the map. Let's see, yeah, this Marine counter is going to get picked off pretty quick, but these medevacs coming in the top, or this medevac rather, there are a few Zerglings there, and they do have Adrenal Glands, but unfortunately it's not going to be enough to pick off all of these Marines with the medevac. Medevac does back off, but there's a huge push coming in. The main force of Taeja is coming in here to Stephano's, what he took as his 3rd, technically is his 4th base. The tanks aren't sieged, though. The front line is just going to get completely decimated by Banelings, and Ultralisks are coming in, and Infested Terran get thrown down. The Ultra is just tearing it up here with the Spine Crawlers. The ones in the back are just getting picked apart. All these tanks are just done for. And Stephano burrows the Infestors to save him from all the Marine fire. And that was a hugely successful engagement, but while that's going on, we've got the huge drop over here. Let's see how many we got. 6 Marine drop with the medevac. So he did stim. He's going to take this base out. Let's see. Is he going to focus it? There he goes. Okay, so Taeja does focus it down. Gets that base done for. And good news is Stephano did save this top left base, what he took as his 3rd. So I still got the Overlord here. It's not doing too much scouting information anymore, but he does know that there is a base here now. So he's seen it before. He's got the drop going over here to the what is now the 3rd base of Stephano, took as his 4th. We got the burrowed Zerglings, though, at the 5th base of Taeja, so he's not going to be able to take that very easily. The drop is going away. Fortunately for Taeja, there's no units left over in it. The main is almost mined out for Stephano, but he is getting that double spire, so he can start pumping out Broodlords. He can make this a greater spire if need be, which I believe is going to be the path he chooses. Right now, Stephano's just gathering his forces of a huge amount of Ultralisks, but unfortunately, they're only 4, not 3, 3-5. They will be 3-5 in a moment here. Looks like the armor upgrade's about to finish. He already has the Kindness plating. He's just waiting on that 3rd armor upgrade for all units, which he did just now get, so that will be pretty successful for him. This Infestor hit squad is coming around here to try to pick off this planetary fortress before it finishes, but I don't believe 5 units, or 5 Infested Terran are going to do too much. With the help of those Zerglings, it will, though. Looks like Taeja's getting ready to push out again. This base is definitely going down. Is it on fire yet? It is on fire, so that's going to burn down, hopefully, for Stephano. But Taeja needs to get this engagement going pretty quick. He's got +2 upgrades for his siege tanks. Those of you who don't know, a 3-3 Zergling is one-shotted by a 1-0 siege tank. So you, with the addition of the Ultralisks, that's when Taeja decided to go for that 2nd upgrade, because just against Zerglings and Banelings, they get one-shotted by siege tanks. There's no need for that 2nd upgrade. But this huge counterattack coming out for Stephano. Just going to pick off a couple SCVs for Taeja. See if he does the hold position micro. Looks like Taeja's going to push into the space up top that Stephano took as his 3rd. We're just going to call it his 4th now. So Stephano's got a couple decisions to make. He needs to push into the space, but it does go down. He's got the top left base. It is rebuilt. He's got a huge spine crawler wall around it, but these tanks are not sieged. Stephano does back off. The creep spread not as good as he'd like it to be. He can't actually see what's going on up there. He just now lost the Zelnaga tower as well. Stephano coming in, tanking fire with the Ultralisks, but it is not enough to push all the way through. Taeja's got a great position going on right here. 3-3 on his bio, 2-0 on his mech. Stephano is actually making the switch over to Broodlord tech, but just as that happens, we've got 4 Vikings being pumped out as well for Taeja. So we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 base for Stephano on a 4 base for Taeja. Now, we do have the creep spread getting pushed further and further back. We have the, I feel like I heard a stim. There it was. Yeah, there was a stim right there from Taeja. But with all these Ultralisks are good if you surprise your opponent with them, or if you're Stephano. I would say that in my humble opinion, on the pro games that I've watched before, the only times I've really seen Ultralisks work are with Stephano, but as of right now, that is not the case. He loses all of his infestors, but he does fungal a ton of units in here, and he's going to reinforce with a lot of Zerglings. He's going to reinforce with a lot of Broodlords. There's all the Broodlords right there. He's going to push over here, and there's only a handful of Vikings, but without any anti-air, it's going to be a real tough time killing these Vikings. 8 Corruptors are popping right now. He's got a ton of Ultralisks as well. These Infestors are here. They drop down in the Infested Terran, and they fungal down all the Vikings, so these are done for. Oh, but he's not killing the Vikings. He's just trying to kite with everything, to pull it all back, get a better engagement. With the Broodlords there, the Siege Tanks have to pull up. They'll damage all their own units. Excuse me while I take a drink of my soda again. My throat's getting dry. Okay, so Taeja with a small contingency of forces over here, coming in the back door, trying to pick off all the Infestors, which are doing a lot of the damage. It's the reason that the Vikings can't just walk in there and pick everything up. Not that there's Corruptors there, Stephano is going to have an even tougher time, but with those Broodlords, he should be able to get a few Broodlings out and pick off a couple units. He did get the transfuse off on a few of those higher tech units like Broodlords and Infestors. He does have a ton of Zerglings as well. No Banelings on the field right now as well, though. Or 1 Baneling, excuse me. But I don't believe it's in this army right here. Oh, looks like it is. There it is. Okay. So we got 1 Baneling in there. No big deal. Hero Baneling. But there is a huge engagement going on right now. No drops, nothing. This is where everyone's focus is in the games. Taeja, Stephano just microing everything back. Fungal's going down on all of them, on all of the bio. The Infestors are completely out of energy. They're just fodder for all the Marines and Marauders now. These Medivacs are doing what they can, but they're all so low. These Corruptors are coming down and just dying instantly. These Broodlords are done. Oh man, those Broodlords just got completely obliterated. Stephano, his supply is at 143 to Taeja's 198. Taeja is, for all intents and purposes, maxed, and Stephano is sitting here 60 supply down, waiting on units to spawn. These Spine Crawlers are going to do well against the Marauders, but they're not going to save the base. These Zerglings need to put in work. The fungal growths go down on the Marauders. The Vikings are all clumped. If there's some Infestors over here, he can get a great fungal there. Oh my god, that fungal, everything clumped up. He's just going to chain fungal everything to death. That was the move Stephano needed to get back in this game. That whole army composition was just designed to counter what Stephano had. The Marauders and tanks for the Ultralisks, the ton of Vikings for all the Broodlords and Corruptors, the Marines against everything else. And oh man, out of everything that could have happened, Taeja clicks his units over the top of each other, and they all, even though they're on separate hotkeys, just get smashed into each other and fungaled. That is not where he wanted to go with that. He is lifting this off. He's going to try to take another base, I believe, or either that or set up a planetary fortress. I'm not sure what base he thinks he can take, but they're all taken. The map is completely mining. We've got Stephano sitting here with a couple Broodlords, a couple Corruptors. He's basically got one of every unit that he's gone for in this game. Infestors, Broodlords, Corruptors, Ultralisks, Banelings, Zerglings, everything. But this engagement, now there's Thors out on the field, and those do huge amounts of damage to Ultralisks. Those Ultras are going to fall immediately. With the Broodlords there, they are going to be able to do a little bit more, but the Thors actually have the same range, even maybe a little bit more than the Broodlords. Let's find out here. It looks like they have a 9.5, and the Thors have a, let's see, 7. Wow, it's actually a little bit less. I actually thought it was about the same, but you can see the unless the Broodlords are at full range, it really doesn't matter. You're not kiting your Broodlords back like you do with the Thors. He picks up everything because he knows Stephano has no fungals left on all of his Infestors. The Infested Terran do go down, and they're not going to be able to pick off much. If he can focus him down on the Medivac holding the Thor, that would be amazing. Pick off that Thor for almost free. I mean, it's just sitting there. There we go. Pulls it down, kills the Thor, gets the second Thor. Everything's going down. This is going for Stephano pretty well, but I mean, he's just trying so hard. We actually have a command center sitting above Stephano's hatchery because Taeja thought he could take it, and he was going to get up on one base on Stephano, but as of right now, they are are on even footing. This is actually a terrible choice by Taeja. I mean, he's just sitting there, which what could be an orbital command now is just as a floating base. It's basically as a base race scenario deterrent for Stephano, saying, hey, you know what, unless you have air, you're not going to beat me. And the Broodlords are morphing in right outside of Taeja's base, but just the small contingent of Zerglings and Infestors that he has are enough to tell Taeja, hey, you know what, you should back off. Even though you have a lot of Marauders, those can't shoot up. You can't lift your arm. You got a broken shoulder. So it looks like those Queens are going to go down, though. The Broodlords are going to shoot in and try to tank it down a little bit, but no, the Infestors need to get away, and the Ultralisks finally get in. The Corruptors are shooting down all of the Medivacs, and the more Medivacs pop out, so they actually have some energy to heal rather than just being distractions for the Corruptors. Looks like, excuse me, my throat is dying now. We got Barracks just sitting out in the middle of nowhere. This game is insane. Stephano coming on back because there is that drop that was up here. Looks like there's nothing else Taeja can really do at this point. I mean, he's just trading with Stephano, but Stephano is trading a little bit better. As of right now, there goes all the Corruptors do get cancelled. Excuse me, the Broodlords get cancelled, so all the Corruptors do survive. They get away, but one of the Broodlords does end up going down. All these Banelings morphing in. How many Banelings do we have? We have 9 Banelings with a handful of Zerglings as well. And this is going to be the engagement that decides the game. If Taeja kills this base, that's one of Stephano's last mining bases. Actually, it's one of 2 bases actually mining. This is it. I mean, if Taeja can hold this off, then he wins. If Stephano holds it off, then he survives just for a little bit longer. And it looks like Taeja lifts off just around all the Banelings, kills off all the Vikings are killing off all the Corruptors. He's still got a huge force of Marines left, but the Medivacs aren't healing much, and the Spinecrawlers are still picking away a little bit. If Stephano can get in with some Zerglings, he had 2 Ultralisks, 5 Banelings, and 6 Zerglings left over. And is that all the units he has in the game? He's got 25 Zerglings. Oh, he's still got 5 Infestors. Where are these Infestors at? I have not seen those. There we go. He's got it right there. So Stephano is no longer mining except for this one base right there and a little bit of gas. That's about it. Everything else is mined out. Taeja, however, is still mining off of that base, and now he's just starting on this base, bottom base. So he's been trading a lot more effectively, as you can see. But everything clumps over again, and he gets a fungal! Oh my god, everything got clumped for a second time in the game, and Stephano can just chain fungal everything there. Oh my god, I cannot believe that happened again. But now Taeja's got this drop coming in the top, and he's also got his Vikings just chilling over the middle of the map. This Ultralist says, nah, 10 HP over 500, that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and stay alive right now. This Viking could land and kill it at this point. Oh my god, that was just so lucky for Stephano. If he could gather up enough minerals to make a second base, there we go. So now he's got that other base, he can actually hopefully protect this a little bit more and start mining. It's actually Taeja following Stephano around with this Viking so that he knows exactly where all the units are. But this planetary fortress down here is protecting him as far as Ling counterattacks go. Still got this Hero Overlord here, not really doing much anymore, but just kind of sitting there saying, hey, yeah, I'm still alive, don't forget about me. We have the planetary fortress up here. If Stephano could take this out, that would be huge. It looks like that's what he's going for. It's what he's planning, and he decides to back off because this Viking is still here. He needs one Corruptor, maybe, or a Queen, just to start picking away at that, saying, hey, you can't do that anymore. We do have this base completely undefended. 4 Marines decide, hey, you know what, I'm going to run on in here, because Taeja knows exactly where Stephano is. He's on the other side of the map, just sitting there. So with these Zerglings coming in, this base looks like it might actually fall unless the Marines get... There we go. So the Marines get pushed back, but this whole force is coming out now. Taeja is going to check this Zalnagi. He does not want to get fungled again. We have 1 Viking sitting over the top of the army, so there's not going to be any sneak attack going. But there's a huge Baneling landmine! Oh my god, if Taeja gets that... Oh, Stephano didn't see it. He didn't see the units running over. Now he sees it. Now if there's any more units coming up, he's going to get it. Oh, and all the Banelings explode on top of all the Marines. That was ridiculous. Stephano just with the amazingly unique play with Baneling landmines and Fungals and Ultralisks and Festers, Broodlords, just everything you can think of. He's got it in the game. And Taeja knew this was coming. Does he still have the Viking? He still has the Viking over the top of the unit, so they knew it was coming. This planetary is going to go down. Let's see if he has any more units to come in. It looks like he's just transferring all of his SCVs down to that bottom right base. That's the only base he has left that's actually mining. Stephano finally got this top base. He's almost got it up. He actually decided to, looks like, cancel it and restart it so that the health would stay. This bottom left base is actually way oversaturated. Way oversaturated. You need exactly 2 rows to saturate. He's got 4 rows, so he's got the exact amount he's going to need for this base, excluding Vespene geysers. The 20 is for not including Vespene. It's 26 total, including Vespene geysers. For Zerg, you could argue 28 because of the need to actually burn a drone. to make a Vespene Geyser. But he's got all the SCVs mining off of Stephano's mineral patches now, and the engagement is coming down. It looks like this is going to be what can decide the game. I mean, Stephano's got a great unit composition, and he's fungling on top of all the Marauders. The Medivacs have a good amount of energy. The tanks are in great position. They're 2-0. There's a ton of siege tanks, and Stephano, I don't believe, has any more Broodlords. It looks like he does not. He's just making Zerglings. This is just the most ridiculous game. I mean, you've got a 197 supply for Taeja for a 153 supply for Stephano. He's got that base sitting over the top of Stephano's base again, and he's just sitting it there. There's nothing going on with it. He's just saying, hey, I mean, this time it's an orbital, so he's just wasting mules at this point. But with this engagement, he's got SCVs mining up top, stealing all Stephano's minerals, and he's got just this bottom base is just sitting there mining away. I mean, there's nothing Stephano can do about that base at this point with just Zerglings. The roaches, the SCVs will heal it. There's nothing he can defend that, or counter that with. These SCVs are still going at it. That's just ridiculous that there hasn't been a fungal growth on those yet. Just 2 fungals will kill all of those. Alright, here we go. So Stephano's decided to go this way. He's going to pick off all these SCVs. There we go. Here we go. Now all the SCVs are going down. It's forcing Taeja to move out of position. He did snipe that hatchery on the top left, but all these SCVs are going down, and he does not have that much money. Look at all the gas he has. He has 2,400 gas left over. These Marines are barely picking away at it, but oh, here we go. It's going to be this is the final engagement. Whoever wins this has to win the game. There's no mining going on in the game except for this one base. I can't see this game going any farther. I know I've called it before, but this is just insane. It's insane. And here we go. It looks like this is it. There's a huge fungal growth that goes down on top of all the Terran. Oh my god, the tanks are everything just goes immediately straight to Terran heaven. Just fungal growths, Ultralisk cleaving through, Zerglings just running themselves straight into it, Banelings blowing up all over them. And it looks like it's still not done. There's still a force left for Taeja. There's a little force left for Stephano. Stephano's bringing his drones in this fight. He's got to bring his drones in this fight. He's got no production left. There's nothing building. He's got 4 Banelings. Let's see. Yeah, he's got 16 Zerglings and 4 Banelings. They're all sitting back here. And this is it. There's 1 base mining. Oh, there's still a mule and there's still an infestor. When there's a mule, there's hope. All these drones are going to go down, though. Oh my god, they all just burrow. Good call. There's nothing Stephano could have done if all those died. Alright, so here it comes down to this is game right here. Whatever happens, the next big fight, Taeja pulled back just in time, and Stephano pulled back just in time to avoid being just slaughtered by Taeja. If Taeja had pushed in, I believe he could have won the game. There wasn't enough DPS for Stephano, and his infestors were out, and there it is. Stephano knows. That was an amazing game. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a great time casting it. If you guys like what you saw, then please contact me. And everyone else, I mean, this is going to go on my channel on YouTube, so please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Follow me. You can also find me on twitch.tv/PhoenixSD. I do stream on there as well. So I'm constantly streaming games and having a good time with the community. But yeah, tune in, guys, and I'll be happy to keep going.